My name is Ioana and I am from EDMUNDO. Here we are going to talk about studies in Sweden, and we have a guest, a very special guest tonight, and I believe another one. Okay, I will let you two to present yourself, and meanwhile I will admit everybody in. Okay?
Yes. Thank you. So kind of you, and I'm happy to be able to join you from Romania, and we are in Sweden now. My name is Thomas Bengtsson. I'm Director of International Affairs at University West in Sweden. And I will have a person with me, and she will introduce herself soon, and she will lead the presentation, so you don't need to listen to boring old me, but I will help out and answer the questions after as well, and help Maddie with that. And I think you will get a good taste of Sweden and University West. Let's hope so. So Maddie.
Hi, thank you all for having me. I am Maddie, as was mentioned before. I am from California, Southern California specifically, and I'm in my second year of my master's at University West with master's in work integrated learning and political studies. So yeah, and also I'm the head of the International Student Committee at the university too. So if you have any questions regarding student life, please ask me. If I don't know, I can forward you to somebody who definitely will know. So yeah, I can start the presentation right away then. Just one moment, I am just getting it on present with you.
You're muted, so Maddie, you pressed the button, sorry.
So sorry about that. Welcome to University West. I'm going to first discuss some facts about Sweden, just the geography, and then go into Trollhättan, then future programs or current programs that we offer. So Sweden is part of Scandinavia, as you can see by the slide. It is actually bigger than California. So when I first went to Sweden, I noticed that the shape of Sweden was closer to California. And it is a long country. It's around 1,574 kilometers. And it has a fairly small population, around 10 million inhabitants, around 0.13% of the world's population. Consequently, Sweden is sparsely populated with only around 21 people per square kilometer. This can be compared to the population density in China, Hong Kong, the EU, Germany, Spain, to name a few areas. And almost 90% of the population lives in southern Sweden, which also has three largest cities: Stockholm, the capital, Gothenburg, and Malmö. So hopefully you can see those cities if you ever come to Sweden. They're gorgeous. And yeah, a few more facts about Sweden. It is very safe and modern to go around. I noticed when I was walking around in the evenings, I didn't feel unsafe at any time, which was a first because I live near Los Angeles, where as a woman, you don't walk around alone. There's barely no language barrier. I noticed that everybody can speak English fairly well. So if you ever have any questions regarding the university, or if there's an emergency, you can ask somebody around you, because at least one person will know English. The transportation system in Sweden is phenomenal, coming from a country that does not value public transportation. It was a nice change to be able to take the train very easily to the nearest city, and also the bus system going to and from accommodation to school is super easy. And yeah, and the Swedish school system or education system is very famous for having group work and innovation into their learning. So it helps their citizens learn more and able to collaborate with partners and their fellow classmates. And yeah. So what else is Sweden known for? So yeah, Sweden has a lot of universities, a lot of multinational corporations per capita, more than any other country in the world. And what is the secret? As I mentioned before, the Swedish higher education system is excellent at teaching students different Hello? As I mentioned before, Swedish higher education system is excellent at teaching students to think creatively and coming up with their own ideas. So yeah, here are some companies that you may have seen in the past or seen right now that are Swedish companies. And what's great about University West too, they have a lot of partners and a lot of networks that can get you to these companies if you're interested in interning or volunteering or getting a mentor at least. And yeah, next thing we're going to talk about University West. So these are some beautiful pictures. My favorite one is the bottom left because around there they have a lot of hiking trails, which is a nice difference from what I was used to in California, where we barely had forests. We had mostly desert, so it was nice, a nice change. So yeah, that's where it's located. It's fairly close to Gothenburg, like a 35-minute train ride away. Also, I've been there when I first traveled to Sweden. For a weekend, I went with some of my international friends. We went to Oslo and had a good time, and I definitely would recommend it. And Stockholm during the winter time especially is beautiful. There's a lot of good Christmas markets, and there's a lot of good student discounts for travel too. So yeah, these are some cities that are close by. And yeah, these are some facts about Trollhättan. So yeah, it's a West Coast. It's a medium-sized town, so it does not feel super small, but it's not super large, which is really nice. It's close enough to a city if you want to have a larger feeling, and it's easily walkable. Like you can walk anywhere in the town. And Innovatum is also located in Trollhättan, which is kind of like a technology hub. It has a lot of our partners too. It has Combitech, which is a engineering firm. It has PTC, which is where a lot of engineers go for labs. And I will talk about that more in the next slides. But yeah. And do you have anything to add to us, or I'm doing great?
No.
Okay. So as I mentioned before, Innovatum has, this is close to Innovatum, it's NEVS, which is, it's the Chinese national electric vehicle in Sweden. And Volvo is also in Gothenburg, so it's easily accessible to go by train there, and GKN Aerospace. And some more things about University West. It was founded in 1990. Has around 625 employees, around 5,500 students on campus. And out of those, we had around, I think, 120 to 160 international students also, I think, this semester so far, which has been great. So out of those 5,500 students, there's a fairly decent sized international community. And one of University West's initiatives is WIL, which is the work integrated learning. So it combines your studies with actual work. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm doing a work integrated learning in political studies. So my first year is on just classroom, like political studies courses. And then right now I'm in an internship. So I'm working with a partner organization, and it's great because you get to learn, theory, and then you get to learn how to apply it to work life, which I was struggling with before I came to University West. So yeah, and here's some more explanations about WIL. It's, yeah, as I said, it's an interplay between theoretical and practical knowledge with an emphasis on helping or surrounding society. And so another good thing about University West and why I chose University West is that there is a relatively high teacher-student ratio, which means you have smaller class sizes, and that's a plus if you need any help with schoolwork, or if you're confused with a course, if there's any issues in the program, you can if you can ask your professor and get a quick response, or fairly quick response from them, because from larger universities, I heard it takes like a week for a professor to email back because they're so busy with all their other students. So what I've noticed with my professors, I usually get an answer back in 1 or 2 days. If I struggled on a paper, they can also help me with my future papers. And another thing I noticed about Swedish education is you call your professors by their first name, which was so strange to me at first, because in the US, you always say doctor, then their last name, or Mrs., Mr., last name. So it creates a kind of comfortable atmosphere, so you don't feel almost intimidated to speak up for them or speak up to them. And if you have any questions at any time, please write in the chat and then we can get to those too. But here are some of our campus facilities. We have a really good library. Our librarians are super friendly too. Again, mostly everybody knows English and they know English really well. So if you have any questions about books, they can get you a book easily. And we have a lot of good computer labs with amazing software for computer science programs too. And the service center is super helpful for international students, especially if you have any questions about rent, housing, or just if you have an IT issue, you can just message them and they can connect you with the proper help. So yeah, and PTC, which I mentioned before, it's our kind of engineering or science lab, which deals with robotics and different types of 3D printing. And it's really cool to see. If you ever get to go, I definitely would check it out sometime. And the location of University West is very central. So you're close to a lot of bars and also restaurants and cafes. And they're really great study spots at those cafes as well. So yeah, PTC. So it is, it works with research projects for companies and the university to develop new technologies within manufacturing to fit the needs of the companies. So it's really cool that you're working with these type of tools for companies or with companies, and you get in contact with these companies, which feels like a real life work experience, where a lot of universities may be lacking that. You can maybe, like in the next slide, it talks about GK and Aerospace and our cooperation with them and how they relied on us for their help, or they relied on us for some products, and we give them a lot of research and they give us a lot of work experience. So it's a great relationship in that sense. And yeah, so these are some articles that you could probably find on our website too, which is really helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always ask, or you can go to our website, search in like PTC or any of these things, and it'll pop up and with an email address. So yeah, some things about our programs. So for our bachelor's program, we have so far 2 English speaking bachelors. It's the international program in politics and economics, and our new program, international mechanical engineering. They're both 3 years, so it's a great way to immerse yourself in Swedish culture too. I actually studied abroad a few years ago in the IPA program. I actually went through ISEP, which I'll mention later. And I really loved it because I was in an international setting and I got to discuss real life current events with classmates who've been affected by those. Like it was during the the US election time, people were asking me what I thought, and then there are other, like with the refugee crisis, I got to learn more about that in Sweden, and I feel like I wouldn't have had a better experience anywhere else with this. And some master's programs, we have finance, international business, IT and management, what I'm doing with integrated political studies. Our new programs, Master in Sustainable Development, Master in Digital Leadership. And I actually read more about the last two programs and they look really interesting and they will be super useful in the workforce because you get to intern with our partner organizations for these, if you choose. And here's some more engineering, more IT. I wish I could say more about these, but you can definitely, again, go to the website and discuss those, or not discuss, but just find the information about this. Do you have anything to add, Tomas?
No, if you have any questions regarding a specific program, you can ask after the presentation, and also contact us or the counselors, and we will guide you to everything, the whole process. So awesome.
But yeah, some of these programs involve PTC too, which is really cool.
Yeah, I can mention that in all our 2-year programs, we have internship opportunities. So in the third semester, then it's possible to go on exchange or do an internship or take courses from another program in all the 2-year programs.
And I know in the IPA program, they have I think it's in their last year, the autumn, you either have to do an internship or study abroad to graduate. And then there's also exceptions to that, but that also gives you kind of a shove into the real world.
Yeah.
So now you're wondering, after reading all the amazing things about this university, how can I get in? Well, here's the formula to get in. You have to look on the website. With each program differs in what they want from you. So this is basic. So, previous education requirement, English language proficiency requirement, and letter of motivation, which is just writing to the program, why do you want to be there and what your background is, which I think is great, since I wrote a letter of motivation for my program, because I know that academics might not be my strong suit sometimes, but my work ethic and how I want to work on a team is one of my major strengths. So for them to read that part and just determine like if I will fit into the program or not is very useful. So yeah, and Tomas, if you want to explain the IE.
Yeah.
LTS.
Yeah, for English, you will need IELTS 6.5 and no module under 5.5. And then we accept TOEFL as well, and Cambridge, Oxford test, but IELTS, I think it's most common for in Romania.
Okay. And if you want to apply, you can go onto the www.universitywest.se, and the applications open, mid-October and goes all the way to January 15th. And if you can't get it in by January 15th, there's some cases where late applications can be considered. So, yeah, so hopefully you can get them in before the deadline though. And this is the cost of living. So it's around 700 to 800 euros per month, including rent. And for study abroad, I mentioned I did ISEP, so it was just an exchange program from the US to Sweden. So University West through ISEP has more than 300 universities worldwide via the network ISEP. 140 of these are located in the US. And I was one of the lucky people from the US to go to Sweden a couple years ago. And I definitely recommend studying abroad if you have the opportunity, because it will not just change your perception or your knowledge in the world, but it will make you more employable, because I've noticed that employers are looking for people who get out of their comfort zone and who are able to be flexible in certain situations. And studying abroad really shows that you committed to something different and a change of scenery. So working in Sweden, I get these questions all the time too. So while studying, it is recommended that you prioritize your studies first. And there are some possibilities where you can work part-time. We're working on that still, but I know of a bunch of people who have worked through, the service center or delivery or cafes. So like, I definitely recommend not working full-time during your studies, because the reason why you're going to university is to study, and then you can work after you study, but you don't want your studies to fail, because you might have issues with taking exams and being in group projects. But after completing studies, you can stay for up to 6 months to find employment, which is nice. So you don't have to rush before you graduate to find a job. You can do your thesis. I mean, you can look for a job while you're finishing up your studies, but you don't have to feel as pressured to do that in this situation. But yeah, student life in Sweden. So Swedish universities have student unions. So it's student advocacy. It's a little separate from the university. They're connected in some sense, but their own entity. They hold pubs and parties, and also the main activity student union does is student politics. They advocate for student rights in the university. So if there's an issue with a program, it goes through the student union and then goes to the program council or just to the school to kind of keep open communications between students and professors in that sense. So, and also a good thing about student life in Sweden is there's plenty of discounts, and you can find them through our app that we use, Mecenat, and it lists like you can use like student discounts for Adidas, or if you want to travel on the train, SJ has some discounts and things like that. And especially if you're living on a budget like me, the student discounts come in handy. And also, Trollhättan is a very student-friendly town. Like, there's a lot of activities going on. If you don't like going out at night to pubs, you can go hiking during the day. There's also swimming nearby at the lakes. And everything is pretty much accessible, or almost everything is pretty much accessible by bus or train. So it could be like a 20-minute bus ride out to the forest, or there's also ice skating around that is, I think, free for students sometimes too. And also I'm from the international student community committee, but we advocate for international perspective on campus, so our students don't get forgotten. But I think that we've really made some strides too, and we have around 30 members. And we've made like fun hiking groups and fun cooking groups. And we, at our meetings, we have like fika or pizza parties and things like that. So there's a really good tight-knit international community on campus. So if you are worried about going to, a strange place in Sweden, like in Trollhättan, don't worry, you'll find friends, you'll have a community around you. And yeah. And our webinar is coming out November 22nd to the 26th, 12 to 12:45 CET every day. And there will be online presentations of all of our master's programs. You will not want to miss that if you're interested in studying at University West. Do you have any more information to add on to that, Tomas?
Yes, no, I can only like push for and say that as you saw, it's no tuition fees for EU citizens, so it's nothing you will need to pay for in education matters. You only pay for cost of living, and as you have said several times, it's really worth trying to study abroad. Even if it's not Sweden, try to study abroad. Then we hope it will be Sweden and University West, especially if you're interested in business programs, IT programs, or engineering programs. Then we have good things for you, as you saw. So, and no, basically, and it was so good presentations.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yes.
Do you have any questions right now? And
Yeah, we had one in that. Maybe you can stop sharing so we can have the whole.
Yeah, for
group.
sure.
There was one question. If I have the Cambridge exam, do I still need to take the TOEFL? No, you don't need that. If you have the Cambridge advanced test, that is okay. Does the university provide a rolling admission for incoming international students? No. We have follow the Swedish admission portal, universityadmissions.se. And if you have applied in time before January 15 or January 17, I think it's next year, then you will get the result in April. If you have applied later than that, then it will be after, from mid-April and later. So no rolling. So that is maybe the bad part, that you will need to wait for admission result, even if you apply today. But I would say that if you fulfill the basic requirements, it's a really big chance to be admitted. I'm quite sure that you will be admitted if you have the English and the previous studies match the program requirements. I'm quite sure that you will be admitted. Is it free to study at West University, University West? Yes, it is. You don't pay any application fee, any tuition fees, if you have an EU passport. So then it's free studies. It's only the cost of living. And as Maddie said, it's around 700 to 800 euro a month. You pay for accommodation, food, books, and so on. You can always live more expensive if you take the train 30 minutes to Gothenburg and live party life and shopping clothes and things. But around 700 to 800 euro a month.
I got a direct message from somebody.
Yep.
They asked, do you consider the prices in Sweden high? Are people friendly? Is university, well, we answered the university free, or what would be a normal price to pay for a year? So
maybe you can answer that, since I'm a Swedish person. I think I'm kind of friendly, but
yeah, Swedish people are definitely friendly. I think everything is pretty relative where you go. What I noticed about Swedish people are they're a little more reserved. They're not going to be loud in public. They're not going to display huge shows of affection in public to people they don't know, really. But yeah, I haven't had any issue with Swedish people, so I think they're fairly friendly. And I don't know about the prices in Sweden high. Again, that's relative. Like, I come from Southern California, and that's pretty expensive compared to the rest of the country.
yeah,
but
if some examples, maybe we can give what things cost, maybe. Yeah.
I definitely, I don't know if I should say this. Alcohol is definitely more expensive in Sweden than other EU countries. But I'm trying to think of something I recently bought, like cheese. It was like for Parmesan, I guess it was like 12 euros, but that was for like a big, I don't know, it was like thing of Parmesan.
A lunch at the university near the student union's cafe, it's around 5 euro. Then in the city, a lunch is around 10 euro, but at university, it's around 5-6 euro, I think. But studies for free.
Mm-hmm.
How challenging is it for international students to find part-time work in Sweden, specifically Stockholm? It's Stockholm I cannot talk about so much. We are in southwest of Sweden, nearby Sweden's second largest city, Gothenburg. And we are 35 minutes by train from Gothenburg. And since it's a bigger city, it can be hard to find a job, but a bigger city, it's more easy. But I would recommend that it is during the first semester when you're coming to a new culture, a new country, a new way of studies, because it is a different way of studies here. I think I will ask Maddie a couple of questions about that soon. But if you take that step, it will be a bit challenging the first semester, I would say so. So don't count on being able to pay for the whole cost of living during the first semester by finding an extra job. That is my recommendation. If I haven't completed my high school studies, can I apply? I'm in my final year and I don't have my final diploma. For us that's following the Swedish admission round, that's harder because you will need to be finished with your diploma before you can be admitted. And if we are open late, the late application will be open to April, which means that you need to be finished in April. However, it can be a chance you can apply as a Swedish applicant because that portal is open March 15 until April 15, and yeah, you can complete until mid-June. But the bad thing there is that everything is in Swedish. But I think you can get help by university admissions. But to apply as an international student, you will need to be finished with your high school for bachelor. If you apply to a master program, you don't need to be finished. Then you can be admitted even if you're in the last semester. You just upload your final diploma before you start in late August. Must we have an English exam or can we take an English test at university? All requirements must be fulfilled before we can admit you. So you need to take the test before we can admit you, and you need to take the test before admission is closed up. Do international students need to pay for health insurance? We have, if you are in a 1 or in a 2-year master program, or if you're in a 3-year program, you will get a Swedish personal number, and the Swedish personal number is a really good thing because then it's kind of easy. You get the whole Swedish health insurance package, so you will not need it. For our 1-year program students, we have insurance through an insurance company, and you also have your EU card. So it's important that you have that EU card because that you covered. The only thing that you're not covered in that, and the thing that is really expensive besides alcohol and cigarettes in Sweden, is to go to the dentist. That is really expensive, and it's not part of the healthcare system. So many people go to like the Baltics and Poland and so on. They go to the dentist because that is expensive in Sweden. But you are covered by health insurance. What is the international students, Swedish students ratio? We are not a really international university yet. We have set a goal in a strategic goal 2 years ago that we shall become a more international university. And that is why we're launching many new programs in English. So I think we are around, including exchange students now, maybe just 200 international students. Next August, I think we will be even more. And from a couple of years from that, even more. But Swedish society and the city of Trollhättan is a really multicultural society. So you have people from all kind of backgrounds. So the feeling is that it's international. I don't know, Maddie, if you can, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think it is definitely multicultural. It is close enough to a city to meet different people from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have friends from all over the world. It's really cool.
Yeah. So that is the nice thing. And also the mix with Swedish and international students. It's good in the classroom. Do we have the chance to benefit for a master scholarship? No, because it's like a whole scholarship since you don't pay any tuition fees if you're an EU citizen. So you don't pay tuition fees, then it's hard to give a scholarship because it's like this many crowns you pay. Is there a way to get confirmation of some sort from the university regarding the validity of the documents needed for admission? I think you can get help from Edmundo, I think, that they can help you. They will have contact with me. If you're really interested, contact them, the counselors there. They will guide you. They will contact me. So yes, we can get help, but we can never ever say that you will be admitted because the admissions office will need to look at your application. And it doesn't cost anything for EU citizens to apply. So I think you should apply if you can be admitted. But they will guide you, they will help you, we will guide you, we will help you.
Indeed. I already wrote Narcisa, and she will send me her email address and I will inform her.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. What is the admissions procedure for doctoral studies at University of West? In Sweden, a PhD position is advertised. So you will need to apply for it as a regular job. You also get a salary, kind of good salary for PhD. So that is something you need to look at university web pages under open positions. The students need to have any extracurriculars to have a better chance of being admitted in university in Sweden, or the basic requirements enough. Basic requirements is enough. Then it's always good with extracurriculars, or you can get them, as Maddie said, at the student union to be participate there. You can do many things besides studies in Sweden, but to be admitted, you don't need any extra than the basic requirements. What can we study in additive manufacturing department? Is it related to space field? I can say it's related to aeroplanes, because we have a big company in Trollhättan, former called Volvo Aero. Now it's called JKN. And over 90% of all the aeroplanes in the world have parts from this company. And they collaborate with University of West and our engineering school. And that is also why we have this program, because it is an important part of our university. It's a lot of 3D printing and these things in that program. So it is connected not to space, but to aeroplane industry. But that is almost the same, a bit lower up, or how you say. But if you're interested to the program, please try to join the webinar week when they have the day of the additive manufacturing program. Be there, the program manager will explain everything about the program. Do I have to pay to stay at the university dormitory? Yes, it's a cost to pay. We guarantee accommodation for students that have applied for accommodation in time. You live in Trollhättan is a smaller city. It takes maybe 10-15 minutes by bike to the accommodation that is most far away. It takes 1 minute by bike to the accommodation that is really close. But you need to pay for the accommodation. Yes. Is the minimal required 5.5 IELTS result influencing the admission result for bachelor? It is not. Yeah, it's no part under 5.5 for IELTS. The result shall be 6.5, no part under 5.5, both for bachelor and both for master. Do I need a better result to get more chance to get in the room? You only need the IELTS 6.5, no part under 5.5. It doesn't get any bigger chance if you have IELTS 7. So it's enough that you manage to take the test result. I'm going to get my final diploma in mid-June. Do I have to wait for another year in order to apply? For bachelor, if you would like to apply to a bachelor program, yes. then it's a bit harder because you need to be finished before admission is closed. Master program is okay, but I think that Edmundo works with some other Swedish universities as well, that you can contact counselors. They will guide you to help you with that. How does my Romanian results from high school and back convert into a Swedish admission grade? How does it calculate? It is like, I will answer not too complex. We have a number from 1 to 20. 1 is not so good student, 20 is the best student. And then we translate, the central admission have like a translator. They can see and convert and see that some subject is worth more and some subject is worth less. So mathematics is an important subject that give better result. And then usually it is like 14, 15 you will need a number to be admitted. So the number is from 1 to 20. So a kind of good student, not the best result, you don't need to be admitted. You have a really good chance to be admitted. But worth apply to because you don't pay any application fees, so try it. In general, do Swedish universities take any admissions fees or not? If so, could you give some examples? No admissions fees for EU students. I saw somewhere that you can apply in terms of the English exam, even just with B2 in the baccalaureate exam. Is that true? Do you know that, Iona? Do you have any clue of that?
Yes, they can, but we advise them to take Ielts, Cambridge, or TOEFL because we believe an international English exam is better in terms of knowledge, of proving knowledge of the English language.
You are a very wise woman, Iona. I really agree with you there. Then that was the last one there, the question. So then I can ask a question. First, I can just tell something also about the situation with the pandemic in Sweden. Everything is open now in Sweden. Universities have never been totally closed. Last year we had distance education, but students were allowed to be at the university. We set prior on the international students. But from this semester, everything is open. We have education at campus. Students has always been welcome to Sweden, even outside EU as well. But now no one wear a mask, so situation is kind of good, but things can change, of course. But as it is for now, it's class education. More questions? I would like to ask Maddie a couple of things, because what I know to study in Sweden and a Nordic country is it is different. I heard you talked a bit about the informality and these things, but also like it's not classes every day. It's not the whole day and these things. It's a lot of group collaborations and these things. Is that true, Maddie? What's the feeling about that? And can you?
Yeah, I think it varies on the program, because I know in the IPA program, we would have lectures and then seminars every Friday, which would be like we would have a group that we would meet with every Friday and discuss a predetermined topic. For the work integrated learning program I'm in, it was mainly classes, and then every 2 weeks we would have a seminar where we would discuss our papers on the topic that we were learning about. So I think it depends on the program again, because engineers might have a different type of studying than a political science student. They might go to PTC every day. I don't know exactly.
I think it's a bit the same at school. Yeah.
So it is a lot of group work, which I noticed compared to the US, which I think is great, because especially with global challenges that we face now, it involves more voices and more perspectives than what we've been having in the past. So group work is great. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and we believe that students also will be strong. It's hard in the beginning, but then most of the students like it. I've never heard a single student, I think, that dislike it. It's hard in the beginning, but then we would like the students to be engaged and more critical in their approach. So, yeah. More questions? Iona, maybe you can ask or say something in Romanian. Yeah.
Of course. I believe they're not that shy.
No.
However, they probably asked more or less all the things they wanted to know.
Yeah.
So in order to sum up, there are no tuition fees in Sweden. Accommodation has to be paid. It doesn't matter if you go to campus or you pay for a private accommodation. In terms of entry requirements, it's wiser to have IELTS, Cambridge, or TOEFL, simply because when you reach Sweden, you have to attend English classes. Therefore, you have to have a good command of the English language. And preparing for IELTS, Cambridge, or TOEFL is always a very recommended way of practicing English and going through a lot of grammar notions and so on. What else? It's not that difficult to apply. It's actually quite easy, and you can always contact us, the counselors from Edmundo. We will help you in everything related to the file, to the application file. Maybe the deadlines. Did we?
Yeah, deadline is the official one mid-January, but it will be open for late applications. So.
Okay, great.
If you think you will apply in time, because then you get the result a bit faster as well. So. And more, but if you would like to study business, IT, or engineering, then definitely look into the programs that we have. So.
There are 2 more questions in chat.
Yes.
Let's focus on them.
What does one need in order to get a part-time job? Are there any requirements? No, it's up. That depends on the job, so that's like I cannot say more about. I think it's always good, even if almost everybody in Sweden speaks English. It's always good to learn a bit of Swedish, and that comes to the second question there. Is it not speaking English? Would you recommend to learn Swedish? Yes, yes. And how does that work, Mary? How can students learn Swedish?
So we have 2 options offered on campus. We have the university's Swedish culture and language course that is offered twice a week, which is really fun, but this is only offered to EU citizens, I think non-fee paying students. But the ISC also has language courses, which I think are really cool because you get to talk with a Swedish student, a current Swedish student, and that happens twice a month. We could do it more regularly too. So you can go to either of those and you learn a lot about phrases, Swedish culture, like what kind of music is popular, how to ask for things in a cafe, anything emergency related and things like that. So we have plenty of options if you're interested in doing twice a week or twice a month.
And Madde learns some Swedish. I will ask a question later in Swedish for her, and you will hear how it sounds. All our programs besides one, starts in late August. So we have an arrival day, we have a good induction week where we work hard on to do even better. So late August it starts. Biomedical engineering and teaching, no, we are more like hardcore engineering, like manufacturing engineering, robotics, automation, artificial intelligence, and so. But you can talk to Iona later. She can guide you to other universities that have education in that field. Is there Swedish? Scholastic? What's that? No, I don't know. Is the Swedish? I don't know that test. I recommend IELTS or TOEFL or Cambridge, Oxford English. But you can also talk to Iona later. She will guide you. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't know that test, but we don't accept that one. So nice to have been a bit in Romania. I have been to Romania once only in Bucharest. I was there for
Mhm.
some days. It was cold. It was in late December. It was a beautiful Christmas market, I remember, close to the city center. That was really nice place to visit. Friendly people as well.
I also visited Sweden, and I have good memories of that week
Yeah.
spent there. Yes. We actually met in person, but you were working for another university back then.
Yes. Yep.
And what I can say to everybody is to prepare warm clothes, because I honestly felt a bit cold while being
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, but it's not so in Southwest. It can be chilly, freezing like that, but we don't have so much snow in the southern part of Sweden. I'm from the northern part, and there it's more snow, but it can be chilly. You are right.
Mhm.
In
Yes.
winter. Summertime is nice. Is there an interview for application? No, we don't have interview for application, not yet. They only need basic requirements, previous studies, and the English, and then I'm quite sure that you will get a letter of acceptance.
Indeed.
Will meet us, and you will meet Maddie, hopefully. Yes.
Yes. I believe an effort to apply is always something you should invest your energy on. But I also believe the positive outcome is more likely when it comes of Sweden as compared to Denmark, for instance. And what I appreciate is the fact that we actually get somehow motivation of the answer. So if it's a negative answer, we will know why that happened.
Yeah.
Whereas in other countries, unfortunately, that motivation does not come, which is a bit frustrating also for the counselor, not only for the applicant.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So you have only face-to-face courses right now. You said
Yes,
that everything is output.
Yep. We have some distance programs, robotics and automation, and electric vehicle engineering is also possible to take on distance. We only have programs at campus.
Okay, good. There are some questions there. How hard?
How hard is it to get accepted if my grades are relatively good, in general above 9 out of 10? Then it's not so hard. Then I think you will get accepted if you have fulfilled the requirements. It sounds good.
From my experience, everybody that has grades above 8 out of 10 in the Romanian scale gets admitted. So
now it's a question. Sorry.
Yes, honestly, I had very well-prepared students, high school students, that actually opted for Swedish university. So I never got a negative response to the applications I've sent. And I hope I never get one, honestly.
No.
But to be honest, all the students that wanted Sweden as a destination were students that actually worked very hard during the high school years or the university years if they wanted a master.
Yeah. A question for Maddie, I think. It's better that you answer that. How does the examination of students work during the school year?
So I kind of know how my examinations work. Since I have a different type of program, or my master's program is a different structure than other programs. I usually have mini papers throughout the semester, and then I have a huge paper at the end of the term, and that will take up like a few weeks to do. But I think it depends on the program, because there are sit-in exams too, which don't involve that much time compared to a take-home. But yeah, I know some, like in the IPA program, I think every 5-6 weeks they have an exam, and then they switch to the next course.
Yeah,
like
it can be written, it can be a presentation or a paper. I think it's the three common things. So, regarding students that choose to work part-time jobs during university, are there any grants they can access? No. If you work part-time, you get salary. University don't give anything because your studies is for free for EU students. So how many students are admitted on every year on an average basis? I think in a master program we have places for around everything from 20 to 40 students around, and bachelor programs a bit more. If the international politics and economics program, I think it's 50, 60, maybe up to 70 places. And we admit many more students because we know a lot of, since we result is out in April and school starts in August, so it's many students that maybe drop out and so on. So, but if you fulfill the basic requirements, I think you will have a so good chance to be admitted, and so good chance to meet me and Maggie in Trollhättan. It's a hard word to say, maybe a bit. Trollhättan in August, late August next year. It will be so nice to meet some of you, hopefully most of you. It's a good chance you fulfill the basic requirements.
If somebody applies to one of your masters, he or she should have attended a university at home in Romania in that field, isn't it? So
yeah, we have 2 programs that are open for a bachelor in any field for next year. It's the one in sustainable development and one in leadership in digitalized organizations. These 2 master programs are open for students with a bachelor degree in any field. The rest of the programs that you will require a bit more specific bachelor, and especially engineering program and business program and finance program. Maths programs, it's open, it's a bit broader. You need that in social science background. How many vacations do we have during the year? We have 2 semesters, and the bad thing, but it's not such a bad thing, is that the first semester is until mid-January and the second semester starts exactly on the Monday the week after. But in Sweden, it is like that when you start a new course, it's not so much maybe to do, so it can be a bit more time to travel and so on. But when in the end of the month, then it can be a bit harder because then you study for the exams. And during Christmas, teachers don't have classes because then they travel away to the families. So, Maddie, to you.
Yeah, I wanted to add that it varies teacher from teacher, because I know last year, my last class was on December 14th, and then I came back around January 22nd. But yeah, you just have to be in contact with your professors about that.
Yep. Anything more?
Well, from what I see here, all the questions from chat have been answered. I tried to Google about the Swedish Scholastic Aptitude test.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a test used as one of the means to gain admission to higher education in Sweden.
Okay.
And the test itself, which is administered by the Swedish Council for Higher Education, is divided into a mathematical part and the verbal part, which both respectively contain 4 subdivisions, in total 160 multiple choice questions. Does this sound familiar?
No, I've never heard about it, but if it says there, then it should be.
I will definitely contact Vlad because he's the one that actually asked you this, and to be honest, I myself never heard about this test until now.
No, so, I have never heard it.
Maybe I should research and stay in contact.
No, but if it says at university admission that it's okay, then it's okay. No.
So university admissions is the one that actually has to validate.
Yeah. And we follow them, so.
Okay, good. Another question.
Yeah, does University West have any bachelor programs regarding art or somewhere where mathematics is not as needed? No, we only have these 2, and Sweden in general don't have so many bachelor programs in English, and mainly bachelor programs that universities have in business or economics, I would say. But you can search by subject at the admissions portal, but we don't offer it. So,
And if I may add something,
yes,
there are some universities that do not receive undergraduate applications, because basically you don't have the time to obtain your baccalaureate diploma until, I believe, 5th of July, if I'm not mistaken. We should check. This year in Romania, we are lucky to have the Romanian baccalaureate exam earlier than in all the other years. Maybe we have a chance to obtain this diploma, and somebody, for instance, who is now in his final year of high school may have a certain chance to get into the Swedish universities rather than in the last years. Okay.
Can you recommend a university that have bachelor, master in forensic science or forensic medicine? No, the bigger universities like Uppsala, Lund, Stockholm, Gothenburg, look into there. And you can search by subject at university admission. So
anyway, it's not really a field that is very specific to Sweden.
Yeah.
This is a field that is more likely to be encountered in the UK, for instance, and maybe in Belgium. I'm not really sure. But maybe you should try searching more online and see if you can find masters like this in other countries, because honestly, forensic science is not really a field very specific to Sweden. Okay. Good. Well, if there are no more questions, we can finish the meeting earlier than scheduled, but it's upon you if you want to say something else, Madeline.
No, I can just say, like, once again, that take the opportunity to study abroad. It will change your life. You will create a network. You will always bear with you the rest of your lives. Take that chance. And we are here for you. If you would like to be in Sweden, we will totally take care and guide you, and hopefully give you a good education. And Joanna with colleagues will help you as well if you have more questions. In our webinar week, if you have time for that.
Can you please repeat the date when your university has this webinar?
Within 2 weeks, not next week, next week. It is from November 22 to 26. So it's different topics every day. We have 2-3 programs presented by the program manager every day. So, but you will get the link as well, Jonas, so you can send it out.
Okay. Good. Good to know.
Yes, it's a good chance to. Then maybe shall we say something in Swedish, like tack? It means thank you. Tack.
Please do.
Thank you very much.
Tack så mycket.
Tack, Maddie. So
did you manage to learn already, Madeline, some Swedish words while being there?
Yeah, I with my internship, most of my coworkers, Swedish is their second language and Arabic is their first. So I've had to learn more Swedish over the time. That's another plus about work integrated learning in Swedish. You get to learn more about the language too. So yeah, I have learned some.
Okay. Good to know. I'm always fascinated by the Swedish language because it's so interesting in terms of alphabet and pronunciation.
Yeah.
But also it seems an impossible mission for us Romanian, honestly. I don't know how it is for you, Madeline, but for us, I think it's a bit difficult to understand.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
But Romanian might be difficult for me
mhm.
to learn. I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for that. That's very kind of you. And talking about links, I should also post here some links very useful for our guests. For instance, our site, our website. And if you want, you can send us an email to our general email address. And you can also write us messages on Facebook or Instagram, because we're very active there too. So questions you might have from now in 2 hours, let's say, you can definitely contact us wherever you feel comfortable, and we will definitely come with an answer to you. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Let me just put here the website and the email address they can use in order to drop us an email. Okay. Good. Sorry for that. There was a typo.
Okay. So wish you all a magic weekend, and if you have time over, go into our webpage, look at the program and see if it's something you like, and then contact us. Okay.
Of course, they will probably do so.
Yes.
If you want to take an advice also from me, I honestly believe Sweden is one of the best destinations I've been in a work visit, if you want.
Yeah.
And I encourage you all to keep an open mind when it comes of the Swedish universities, because with Brexit right now, we actually have the tendency to focus on the Netherlands, for instance, more. But it's a pity, because in the northern of the European continent, we can always find very good options as well. So try looking it up when it comes to the universities, because you will have nice surprises.
Thank you so much. Okay.
If you want to say a goodbye word.
Yeah. In Swedish.
Of course. Why not?
Hej då och ha det så bra, alla.
Okay.
Bye bye and enjoy.
Okay.
Hej då. We keep in touch.
Of course.
Yes. Hey.
Bye. Have a nice
day. We keep in touch. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.